Ooh, I get to do the YouTuber Psy thing now. Yes. Hey, it's me, GV, and welcome to an update video. I mean, it's probably, I don't know when I'm going to upload this, so I don't know if it's a Sup Saturdays or what. I mean, it's basically the big Sup Saturdays that has been coming for quite a long time now. This one has been inevitable, and here we are. Luckily, I have a very good mindset about it because I put a lot of work into myself physically and mentally these past 7 months or so, and I'm feeling like I can tackle anything. It feels pretty good. In the past, weaker states of mind, I definitely would have been very crushed by this, or at least very, very worrisome or not really able to handle it. But I come before you today not that person. I come before you today somebody that feels like I will be able to handle what life throws at me, and even excited for what the future may bring. And that leads me to the main point of this video. And I'm going to be talking from the heart here. I don't have a script or talking points or anything. I really didn't want to do this video like that because it's just not the type of video for that. It's the type of video to tell you what's been going on and be a human being and talk to you like a human being and not like a YouTuber or some character or anything like that. So lots of you may know that this past end to the year, last December, a year ago, going into the beginning of this year was one of the worst times of my life. Ironically, I think I still was on anti-anxiety or at least getting off of it. I don't really remember the timeline. So it really didn't affect me mentally in the moment. But I was doing horrendous things to my body. I was drinking all of the time. I gained so much weight. Oh my God. I'll probably put a before and after picture here where I'm currently at. And also, I just let everything go. Everything. I wasn't being my best self in any stretch of the imagination. But I'm the type of person that eventually wakes up from that and realizes a change needs to be made. And a change was made. I've since lost, I think, about 75 pounds or so, and I've put on a decent chunk of metal. My new favorite thing is this little bit of neck definition. Maybe you can see it, maybe a little bit of a stretch, and a bend, a little bit of a trap forming there. But yeah, I've been working really hard at the gym. As of today, I have not missed a single gym day for over 7 months now. I've been taking it pretty seriously. Also been eating much more cooking at home, a lot of eggs, trying to slowly but surely get the diet on track for basically the first time in my entire life. Second time, I guess. In college, I ate pretty healthy. But anyways, I worked on myself a lot because it needed to be done. Now, during that time, damage was done to this YouTube channel. I was starting and stopping YouTube series constantly, and lost a lot of faith in my audience due to certain decisions and certain mistakes and things of that nature. I don't try to dwell in that because at the end of the day, all that I can do is move on and try to be better than I've ever been in terms of my goals and who I am and blah, blah, blah. So the damage was done, right? And we lost a lot of subscribers and we lost a lot of viewers' faith, which is just the way that it is. We can try to hide that, or we can try to not talk about it. We can try to stay positive, but ultimately it's the way that it is. And these days, being, just turning 32, I think it's far more important to me to be authentic and a real human being than ever try to be, some type of person that just pretends everything is 100% positive all the time, just for the simple fact that I'm on YouTube, and that helps get your career further if everything all the time is good and nothing but positive. Because the reality is we all go through struggles. We all go through times where we have made huge mistakes, and we all go through times where things are just not positive. All that to say, that's the way that it is. This channel was dealt a lot of damage to it because of my actions and because of my mistakes, and probably mainly, funnily enough, starting and stopping a lot of YouTube series, which ultimately is a little silly to think of that as the genesis of the downfall of this YouTube channel. But hey, man, if you are known for finishing big series and then you stop doing that, yeah, it's going to do some damage. So all of that to say is that this channel has finally arrived at the point where it is no longer financially viable to do this full time. With the changes to YouTube, the algorithm, blah, 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 I don't want to blame anybody but me and my actions. It's hard to eke out a living doing Let's Play content. Very difficult. Unless you started very early and consistently did it all these years, which even then, I know channels that have done that and they still struggle a lot as well. It's very difficult to keep the train a-rolling. YouTube just doesn't really like that type of content, I don't think, and it's difficult to get out there, and also everybody and their mother is doing it even now, so that means you have to really stand out, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. So for those reasons, I'm out. I've been watching a lot of Shark Tank. But for those reasons, and also, just everything else we've talked about in this video so far, this channel has arrived at a point where, as I said, it is no longer financially viable, which sucks. Nobody wants to be at this point in their YouTube career, in their streaming career, whatever. But when you're there, you're there. And what are you going to do about it? You can cry, you can give up, you can try to fight against it as best as you can, or fight against reality and delude yourself. But ultimately, the best foot forward is to recognize what's going on and make the requisite changes that you need to make in order to move on with your life. Where my girlfriend and I currently are is we really want to start a family. This is the number one driving force in my mind currently, is starting a family with my girlfriend and beginning that lovely chapter of, most people I would imagine want to experience that. And that's where we're at. Slowly but surely over time, the drive to be a father has built up in me. And that's where I currently am, is to start a family. But I'm also in a weird spot because this job is not allowing me to do that. It is not financially viable. And while it's more or less paying my bills, something's going to give eventually. And I have to be a smart adult and make the changes needed in order to secure a future for my future family. So this brings us to two options that are difficult to choose between. The first option is to recognize the loss of this YouTube channel and move on to other things. I'm not stupid. I've already been putting my foot into other doors, knowing this was the likely outcome of this YouTube channel, regardless of how much new, renewed vigor and energy I put into it. I wanted to get things ready in case there would need to be a transition. So option A is to start transitioning to these other things, these other projects full time, and, give that my all and basically grow some things from scratch and, make them organic and healthy, because this channel has a lot of its, during a lot of its lifetime been unhealthy, and really, make the effort to grow something new again. And there's other more consistent things that I will probably be doing as well in that realm. But yeah, that's option number one. It's the most likely option. It's the option I'm readying every fiber of my being for, because I need to move on with my life. I need to start this family because we want it very much so. And I want to give her what she wants. And I also want to be a father. So that's just, like I said, prime directive here. And this YouTube channel is kind of the thing that I've been like, can we make it work? Can I put every ounce of effort that I have into making a cool Red Dead Redemption 2 series, some Skyrim Hidden Treasure, some good stuff, make people resonate with that, have a good time with people? And it's done some good stuff. I think the response overall has been pretty positive, and that's great. But it didn't really change the financial situation, which sucks because I feel like we're just getting started. I'm so excited for this. I knew oh man, this Red Dead series would be really good. And even if there's not much interest in it, because obviously we're shifting gears from a very Elder Scrolls Fallout related channel to something that's not really related to that, I know the game's a masterpiece. I know it's going to be a fun time going through the whole thing. So it feels like we're just scratching the surface of what the potential of the future of this channel could be if I only had a chance. But again, reality strikes and we are where we are. So what's most likely going to happen here, being 100% honest and, completely, just laying it down as it is with you, is typically the end months of a YouTube channel start to get a lot more ad revenue. This is because obviously the holidays, people are buying a lot more, Black Friday, Christmas, etc. And so the ad rates skyrocket, which means this channel's doing okay at the moment. But what I'm definitely predicting is once January rolls around, that is going to plummet from the sky and basically put us into fight or flight mode, which I am preparing for now and have been preparing for. What this means is that this channel will fully, at that time, most likely be completely not financially viable anymore. So this means I need to transition into the other things that I was talking about. Now, I watch a guy called ProZD. You might know of him. He's a Korean dude that made a whole bunch of Vines back when Vine was a thing and then kind of transitioned over to YouTube. And yeah, he's a voice actor too. He's in a lot of crazy stuff. So obviously I would be a fan of him because I love funny skits and he has great comedic timing. And also, yeah, he's a voice actor, which I have a big interest in voice acting. And this guy has a very similar YouTube channel where basically he doesn't really do things the way that the great algorithm dictates. He kind of goes by the beat of his own drum, and he also does stuff that really isn't that absorbable for the common, audience member, such as board game reviews, which he recently just ended due to low views. Now, this guy, ProZD, has talked a lot about being in the same situation, his YouTube channel not really being financially viable, and most likely he would have to shift focus completely to voice acting or the other things that he has going on. So he made a video titled something like "The future of this channel is uncertain," where he basically said the same things that I'm saying, and eventually said, hey y'all, if you want to keep this train a rolling, the Patreon is available. I've set a $1 tier, and if we can get this thing going, I will continue to do this. And it was massively successful. I think at the time I checked to see how that went when he uploaded that video, and he had like 8,000 patrons, meaning at the very least he was making a good chunk of change, and probably much more because I think people can pledge whatever they feel like pledging through that tier, not just $1. So that basically instantly solved the issue for him, and he was able to continue doing his Let's Plays on his Let's Play channel and also all of the content that he was producing on that main channel. Now that sounds amazing, right? The channel's not really doing well financially. It's something that's taking more energy out of it that he could be focusing in other places, but his audience came out in droves and made sure that the train kept rolling and everything was fine and everybody lived happily ever after. Wouldn't that be amazing if that happened here? But I'm not stupid. I don't think that would happen here. I know very much so that my audience does not hold me in the regard that ProZD's audience holds him. I've made a lot more mistakes. I've made a lot more dumb decisions. I've started series that people have gotten attached to and then dropped the series because I got bored of it or whatever reason, and that has frustrated people. I'm not stupid. I know that that's very, very unlikely to happen, where basically that would be solved instantly and I could go back to making content and having a good time. Yeah, I don't think that would happen. However, the idea is very, very lucrative. Of course, who wouldn't think that it's lucrative? The ability to just instantly solve the issue with the YouTube channel and be able to put your full focus and attention into this thing once again and not have to worry about how financially stable something is. So we talked about this at length on stream recently. I basically did a live sub Saturdays and talked about a lot of the things that we're talking about here, and near the end of the stream, I mentioned how ProZD made that video and it really worked out for him and everything was, kosher ever since. And some of the people in my chat were like, well, hey, I'd do that for sure. Hey, I'd do that for sure. Hey, I'd do that for sure. Definitely. And I was like, okay, well, I wasn't really seriously considering it because I really did not think that it would be viable or likely to happen. But with the interest shown in the chat, I thought, you know what? We may as well give it a shot. So I have done exactly what ProZD did. I changed the Patreon tiers to a singular $1 tier. And this is because we did have people in the other tiers because there was a whole bunch of tiers, but honestly, no one used any of the perks, and that's fine. That's their prerogative, obviously. But to me, I'd much rather have just that $1, like, hey, you like my content? You want to say thanks? Cool. I'll say thanks right on back. sort of tier. I think it's just a lot cleaner, and let's be real, a lot of the Patreon perks on a lot of Patreon pages are there simply to be a little gimmicky anyways. So if a flat out miracle happens and there's a good chunk of people that wants to click that Patreon link in the description and help basically crowdfund this YouTube channel, I do promise you I would put every single ounce of energy and refound passion after losing 75 pounds and getting a heck of a lot of my energy and drive back into this YouTube channel and into future streams. Do I expect that to happen? No, not at all. Is this a foolish endeavor in the first place? Probably. I heavily considered not doing this because at the end of the day, I definitely don't want to come off as an e-beggar. And I figured, hey man, I know there's a lot of people that are attached to the series that I'm currently doing. And if there's enough interest, maybe we could make this thing work out. But I am no fool, and I want to be realistic here. So what most likely will happen is, as I said, I will continue to produce content until January, where most likely the ad rates will plummet. The revenue that this channel produces will also plummet, and it will be time to move on because there's just no viable way to right the ship at that point. And the way that I feel about that is, it sucks, but at the same time, it is what it is. Ultimately, it comes down to that. There's nothing that I can do. I've really, really, really tried to work on myself over this past year. I've really, really, really tried to put renewed vigor and passion into the videos that I make. I understand that Let's Plays is a very hard format to get to work and resonate with people, and I get that. And I know that I don't obviously make highly edited content, stuff like video essays and stuff like that would be much more the apple of YouTube's eye. I get all that, and I know I've made mistakes, and yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. What most likely will happen is it will be finally time to move on to a new endeavor, which I'm excited about. I do think that I have enough fiery passion within me, especially at the moment, that will only continue to grow as I get stronger and stronger at the gym, to put that into a new project and have something else take off. I did it once on YouTube. I did it once on Twitch. I could do it again in a new avenue. Now, I want to be absolutely clear here. I would fight for this job 100,000% tooth and nail with everything that I had if there was a way through it. Currently, I don't think there is. Currently, I think a lot of energy that I put into righting the ship on this YouTube channel would be far better placed elsewhere. But if there was an inkling of hope, I definitely would fight for it. So if by some miracle, as I said, this channel somehow gets crowdfunded through the Patreon and we're able to keep this train a-rolling, like I said, I would give every single ounce of my being, especially if I didn't have to worry about finances, man. Like, God, if that was just lifted off my shoulder and we could realistically start a family without having to constantly worry about this channel and where it's going, yeah, I mean, I would genuinely be mentally free to make the best stuff ever. But I don't expect that to happen, and I want to be very clear. I have realistic expectations with this. I'm simply offering the option in case there is enough interest. By the way, as an added little cherry on top, everybody on this tier on Patreon, the only tier that we're going to have moving forward, will get that 4th exclusive YouTube channel. So if you want more content from me, and I can tell you guaranteed the 2 things that we've been working on in that respect on that channel are good, yeah, you'll get that as a little bonus. Regardless of what happens after I upload this video, I know that everything is going to be fine. I have a renewed vigor for life in general, a renewed vigor for passion, for putting things into videos or streams or whatever is going to happen moving forward. And even if it's not on YouTube, even if it's not, well, it's not going to be on Twitch, but even if it's not on YouTube, it will be somewhere. And I'm confident in my ability to once again grow something and make something happen. And I want to end on a positive note here. I mean, ultimately, this job has been crazy. It's offered me a heck of a lot of crazy experiences. We genuinely were on top of the game at one point here on YouTube and also on Twitch. And, obviously that's very subjective where you fall onto the line, but we were killing it for a good time. And, I'm definitely the type of person that really can burn out very quickly. A star that shoots really high and fizzles out, but I do like to think that star will get reignited again and shoot off in a different direction. At least that's what I feel in my core. So I'm excited for the future, even if it's going to be a little tricky getting things going again. But yeah, I want to say a huge thank you to anybody and everybody that's ever interacted with this channel or my streams in any positive way, shape, or form. Obviously, we've had our fair share of people that weren't happy with the type of content that I was making or whatever, or, nitpicked a little bit too much in terms of how I was playing a game or anything like that. That's just part of the YouTube game. But ultimately, to everybody that's been neutral to a positive interaction for me to interact with, to hang out, to talk to entertain, thank you. It's been a wild ride, regardless of what happens. I mean, this is a job that is, you're truly blessed to even be able to experience it. So thank you very much for being a part of it. And wherever I see you next, I hope you're doing well, and I'll see you there. Bye-bye.